Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tarot Off the Cuff. My name is Kevin Quigley. Today, we've got another one of our longer talks. I've invited two tarot readers, Mitchell Osborn from Orlando, Florida, and Meg Miller from Minneapolis, Minnesota. You're probably familiar with both of them if you've been watching the channel for a while. They're getting together and they're going to pull some cards and talk about passion.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to an extended version of Tarot Off the Cuff. Thank you, Kevin Quigley, for hooking me and Meg up. Where are you? You're on that side? That side? So I'm going to let you introduce yourself first, Meg.
Hi, I'm Meg Miller from the Mentoring Sage, and I've been reading tarot for over 30 years. Got my first deck finally after a friend just said, oh, just do it already. And I would say my way in was through rocks and crystals, a little bit of astrology, and just psychic intuition, all of those things. I've had many spiritual, shall we say, interactions since I was a girl. So this is just tarot is my soul heartbeat.
I love it. And my name is Mitchell Osborn. I'm a psychic medium, and like Meg just said, tarot card is probably my heart. I love reading tarot cards. They're like my family. I'm also an animal communicator, which is probably about 40% of my woo-woo business, because my full-time career is in health and fitness. As a fitness manager, I teach exercise classes and have for 32 years, and been reading tarot since late 1999, and professionally since around end of 2008, 2009. So we are excited to do this. We've done individual tarot off the cuffs, and then Kevin was our pimp and hooked us up, which I love. So it's the Meg and Mitch show. So we kind of collectively came up with this topic of tarot, love, and passion. So yeah. So Meg, what is tarot, love, passion? What does that all mean to you?
Well, I love it. I mean, the first thing you can think about is the lover's card, and you go straight for sex is great, but that is not sustainable on a 24/7 deal, at least in not my world. So I look at other things that really flow. So there are things and people that I love, and then there are things and say values and missions that I'm passionate about. And I really use tarot to help me sometimes when I feel I need a little more direction, I feel a little stopped, or I am really on a good high, but then I don't want to get too carried away and I want to redirect. So I look at, those things I'm passionate about, and I'll say one thing. Right now, I'm a recovering addict. So I'm passionate about recovery, and mine just happens to be about food. I'm not going to say any programs because it's anonymous out there, but I am really all about health. So, it's wonderful that Mitchell works in the health field. And just to tell you, I weighed twice what I weigh today. And because I, of course, eat different foods and also just really follow a more spiritual journey, and tarot is really my journey with that, because there are so many complexities of this wonderful art, and yet there's a science to it. So that's what I've got so far.
Yeah, and I tell you, Kevin has no idea what he did. So I got to start here too. I was 240 pounds as a 15-year-old kid. I was the obese kid between two skinny athletic brothers. The reason I'm in fitness is because I was obese. I even went down the anorexic path. I started losing weight, eating one meal a day, and then I would go 5 days without eating. I did that 2 weeks with some space in between, just so I didn't kill myself. But yeah, so it is very interesting that we have some very similar paths. And it's funny because like December of 1991 was the last time I used anything other than coffee. So, and I really didn't do drugs, but alcohol was my big thing. So I've been clean and sober since that December of 1991. So much in common here. I'm a Pisces. What are you? I mean, this.
I'm a Virgo, but I'm right on the cusp of Leo.
That's right. And I think we talked about that. We're
Yeah, that's
opposites.
right.
So we are opposites. I love it. And I'm close to the edge of Aries because I'm March 14th. So yeah, when it comes to like tarot, it has become a love of mine, um, and a passion as well. And I think the things I'm passionate about when I think about all this is I love to pass on information. I love to communicate. My degree is in theater, which is all about communication, and I'm a storyteller. My other love and passion was improv, and I owned an improv theater for 10 years. And the funny thing was, I'll never forget when I was in college at a very conservative Christian liberal arts university in Nashville, Tennessee. Um, it wasn't Lipscomb, um, but I remember saying, "I need words as an actor. Don't make me do this improv." And all of a sudden, I got on stage, and just like tarot, was bitten by that bug. And I tell people now, if you ever want to become a better reader, go find an improv group or something. Even if you never plan on performing, just get in the groove of getting out of your own way. Because within improv, there's structure. There's beginning, middle, end, tag, if you can get it. There's crow, which is character, relationship, objective, where. So what is our structure within tarot often? The suits, the major arcana, but also the spreads. Like, what game are we going to play in improv? Oh, we're going to play an endowment game. What spread are we going to use? So it's funny because I'm literally just sitting here. This is what Tarot Off the Cuff is all about, right? We're just coming up with stuff off the cuff. So my passions for those things really kind of melded together a lot. So, whew, this is
And
interesting.
I love that. Yes, exactly. And I started out my career as a teacher, and so my heart is really about empowering and educating people. And of course, tarot offers that. And you're right. I mean, I'm thinking about the improv. It's one of those things. I want to take that class to put myself out of my comfort zone. I was in a few plays when I was younger, but I've been a public speaker for years. I love getting in front of an audience. And in fact, I found that out when I was 5 years old. I was in a private school. That's what there was where I was from in Iowa. And we had a little fashion show, and I had a little sailor outfit on, and I got to be able to walk down this little plank and wave, and I was hooked. I was like, oh my gosh, these people are here for me. So it's kind of like, with tarot, you're doing a reading. It's kind of like, one-on-one stage type thing. But then I get to educate and empower and offer insight. And I've learned so much just about myself, just about the passion. It's, if I bring my passion, I mean, it's there with me, and I give the reading, my client, friend, relative, whatever, is also going to be drawn in, because it's like that cocoon of energy. It's it's that whole swirl. It's just all of that moving and sharing and shifting, and learning about myself over the years, that when I involve myself in things I really love, I just become engaged and alive. I mean, I could be so dog tired, and just having this conversation right now, I feel like, well, I'm good. Who
Yeah.
needs caffeine?
And you know what?
Already.
I think that's passion, isn't it? I think that's passion. And you said something that I think we're about to go down a beautiful rabbit hole. You talked about teaching, and I've always said I'm a teacher at heart, but I've shifted over the last about 5 years that I'm a coach at heart, because the coach, as a fitness person, I consider myself, that's like a coaching role, because I believe you have it in you. I'm not lifting the weights for you. I'm not stepping up and down the step for you. I'm there with a plan. I'm coaching you. I'm counting. You got 10 more. You got 9 more. And it's funny because it's not in my nature. Growing up, I had a mom who did everything herself. She was a rock star woman. She ran our family business. Mom and dad are always together, never, apart. But I didn't grow up holding doors open for people. If I see someone walking in with a heavy package, do you know what's going through my mind? You got this. You can do this. I know you can do this. I will not even say, can I carry that? I will not open the door for you. It's not in my nature to do that. And I've every once in a while I'll do it, and I'll say my mom would be proud, even though I know she'd probably say, just do it yourself. But within the tarot reading, I think there's some of that as well, that we're communicating information. We're kind of coaching. That's a touchy place, like advice, guidance, suggestions, and things like that. But where I want to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole is performance. When we are doing a reading, and there's the whole, for entertainment purposes only kind of a thing out there. And I don't poo-poo that idea, but I also embrace it a little bit, because I do feel like I am performing for the client, in the
Mhm.
sense that if my delivery of the information can be more titillating, enticing, succinct, concise, or picture generating in your brain, which might be considered entertaining, then I'm happy if the message gets across and you remember it better. So how does that sit with you? Like the whole kind of like entertaining while you're or performing, or what? Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up.
No, I love that, because I have a black velvet cape cloak, and I've done enough Halloween parties. And in fact, the first one I did, a friend, her daughter was turning 13, and they were having a Halloween party. Her birthday was the beginning of November. So she's like, can you do tarot readings or whatever? I said, sure. So I have a cauldron. I've got all my rocks and crystals, bell, my sage. I had the cloak on. I put lots of, I did the whole thing, and they just loved it,
Yeah.
and I did too. So I think part of it adds that element of drama, that we are stepping out of, let's say, the humdrum of life,
Yeah.
and into something that is mystical and awe-inspiring. And there's sometimes you can take it way over the top, but overall it's really about, let's step into the different realm of this. And when I think about it too, when I look at like the love and the passion of it, it's like there's also a vulnerability. And by creating a different little bit of an environment, I think makes it a little more safe and a little more playful, a little more free, that vulnerabilities can come. And I think that's where, our responsibility as a reader, we can set the stage and really enjoy that. But I have a feeling you do the same thing. It's like that I found I just kind of like hook in and I zone in. And I've learned to tell people, when I look off or I'm looking down and I'm not looking at you, it's because that's where I process. And it's
Yeah.
like a little, it's kind of like a movie in my head, but it's just a knowing. And then I go from there. But dressing the part, I think, just adds to the fun and the mystique.
Yeah. And it's interesting, because something I love doing is, and it's so funny. I don't like dressing up. I don't like Halloween. It's so weird. My husband, like, let's dress up for Halloween. I'm like, oh, I got to wear something comfortable, because in an hour I want to take it off. And I've done parties and I've never done the costumes or anything. I've never been really asked to, but it's just not my, I don't know why. You'd think as an actor person, I would love to do that. But I don't know what it is. It's just laborious, I think. It's just, like, and I'm not comfortable. But when my boot camp of tarot reading was at Universal Studios Orlando, Florida, and I had to wear a shirt that had like Om symbols, and I was like, oh my God, this is as far out of my comfort zone as I can go. But and there I know I had to keep it a little more light, because it's a family part. They actually made us remove the death card when we read there. So it was really interesting. And yeah, and I always said, it's okay if the six of swords comes up, I can process that, what death card might mean to me as similar. You're like, we're moving on. There's a transition, not necessarily death, which I'm sure we both agree
Yes.
that death is not always death, and hardly ever death.
Yes.
So yeah, so I love the conversation we're having, and I feel like we might need to pull a card or two and talk about tarot, passion, and love, and the story I always tell. And I don't think I've told this on Tarot Off the Cuff, but in December of 1999, my entire life kind of shifted. I started diving into psychic work was where I came into it. Literally, Barnes and Noble, the books were calling to me from across the room. And I was like, what is going on? Because I was kind of, always interested in that. But I'm like, what is going on? And I got a tarot deck, one of my first ones, and the first day that I had a bad day and I was still kind of 1 foot in the church, 1 foot out, blinds closed, reading those books. I was like, what's wrong with this bad day? And I'm like, it's the deck, it's possessed. So I marched out of my house down the street and threw it in the garbage. And I tell that story, and I usually can hear gasps in the in the audience. And I always say, somewhere, somehow, I believe that that deck made it into the hands of somebody who needed it. And I've since apologized to that deck. And it was one of those things where I am just now realizing something, that might have been very symbolic of me walking away from my blood family and stepping more into my chosen family. I am literally having an epiphany because I was coming out of the closet. I was finding my true self. I was discovering all things metaphysical, pendulums, cards, psychic work, dream interpretation, tea leaf readings, and all this stuff. And yeah, so I'm literally epiphany right here.
Mhm, mhm. And that's how impactful it is. And I think you having that casting away was the releasing of having a choice.
Yeah.
That you have a choice to do whatever, and and to go from there. And I think my mom would talk about, her mom would have vibes. That's what she always called it, vibes, because I had so many intuitions. I had many situations where there were spirits that came into our house, and I told my mom, and she said, yeah, it was probably an unhappy relative. There was a time I didn't go into an elder's home because I was raised, respect your elders. And she said she needed help. And I felt that there was like her adult son behind the door. Had I gone into that house, I would have never been heard from again. I would have been, who's that missing person? And I remember I came home and told my mom, I was a senior in high school. And she said, well, it's a good thing you listen to your gut. That's what she always said, listen to your gut. Now, she's not with us now. She's been gone for 30 years. But had she known I was into tarot, she would have been a little hair on end. And then I would have spent some time, talking to her about it and just showing her, gradually having her touch them, because she's still passed down that lineage. I really feel.
At like 35, I discovered my grandfather on my mother's side was a metaphysical minister. I've got a book of his back there. I was blown away. My middle name I'm named after him, and it's my mom, who is very intuitive. She's a Sagittarius, so there's a lot of logic involved. At least that's my feel with that. But we could talk about dreams. That was about the only thing woo woo we could talk about. And my mom had prophetic dreams. She had a dream. This woman was walking down the street in a black shoe and a black dress, and a shoe fell off, and she would look it up in her Dr. Spock or whoever in the dream interpretation book, and it denoted someone was going to die. And literally the week later, that woman's spouse died. So it was really, really powerful kind of stuff. So, that is wild. So you want to grab you got your deck?
Yeah, I got my deck here.
So we have no idea what we're about to do, people, but we know it's going to involve tarot, love, and passion. So,
great.
So
shuffling the cards. Just so you know, I've got the Tarot de St. Croix.
Beautiful deck. And I've got Ciro Marchetti's Legacy of the Divine Tarot. If you know me, you know this is 99% of the time what I'm using. Oh, all right. So let's show our card.
Pull one.
Same time. King of Swords.
And I've got the Knight of Wands.
So I'll let you go first, unless you want me to.
Okay, so the Knight of Wands. All right, so we've got a lot of fire in the background. When I think of fire, I think of passion, love, intensity, really going deep. And with the Knight, I mean, in this picture, just going off of this deck, he's really thinking. He's really into the moment. And I think I'm going to set the card down because I keep moving it back and forth. But just right off, I think it's really about checking in and am I on point? I know it's kind of like an old term now, but am I really hooked in to what it is I'm meant to be doing? And I think with tarot and love and passion, it's like, this is my passion and I love the work. I mean, I run a meetup and it's on Zoom right now. And I really it's my old teacher roots too. I really stop and I look. I am so passionate about it, and I will spend hours for a 2-hour session because I want to educate and I want to empower and I want to readers deepen their own practice. And so I want to make sure I'm offering that. So that's why I feel like the night, it's kind of like, we're going to go for it. We're going to charge ahead and we're going to really embrace and just go for it and not spend a lot of time in doubt.
Cool. And then I got the King of Swords, and at first I was like, "Oh my gosh, how does this relate to Terra Passion?" And for me, and I know there's different opinions on this, but for me, the King of Swords is Gemini. So Gemini, is connected into the lovers. So it's like, okay, I found a way back in, and I think the King of Swords probably had to have passion to get to the top of his suit, to get to the top of his kingdom of air. And I almost feel like he might have had an obsessive kind of passion, or he had to really keep it in check. We talked both a little bit about addictions in the beginning, obsession, addiction. Sometimes what we're passionate about can become that. But I think if we keep it in check, then I think it become a beautiful thing. And then, how does the King of Swords fit in with love other than like connected back with Gemini and the lovers? I think his logic and his reason, and I'll use the word theory. I've never used the word theory before with any air, but that just came to me. I think all of that probably comes back to a very committed, um, action-oriented display of love. Sometimes I feel like, in my relationships, I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I love this person or this place or this thing, but like I've committed to it. And that almost feels like more like love than the emotion that, oh, I love this cup of coffee. I'm like, I don't know if that's how the word love works sometimes, you know, but yeah. So I feel like sometimes it's the action oriented behind it, which the King of Swords, I think, is very action oriented. So, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
you want to pull? I just had a thought. How about I pull a card and you go off on it, and you pull one
Okay.
of yours and I'll go off on it, and then we'll
All right.
bring this to an end because that'll be probably about we're at 22 minutes right now. So, all right,
Okay. Excellent.
we'll put each other on the spot,
Yes.
and we have to look at the other's card, not what we know about it, what's on the card. So,
Yes.
uh,
All right.
all right. So I got. Oh my gosh.
Knight. Oh, wow.
So
Let's see. Knight of Wands. Well, I see this too. I mean, again, just a lot of passion, but I also think it can be almost too much and too heady of an experience, and that there needs to be time to just stop and regroup. Otherwise, just end up galloping down a path and then you leave everyone in the dust. And it's like, and everyone's like, well, I couldn't keep up with your pace. And so sometimes, we have to, I guess, I look at you, it's like looking at your passion and, every once in a while stop and assess and to make sure that the people who you want to impact and empower are right there with you. And that you're not, 6 blocks ahead of them and they're kind of like, well, I don't know where he went, but okay, we'll just make the best of it. And so that's what I see. So
I love it. That was too funny. If you got the King of Swords, we're going to be out of here. I'm going to just
yeah,
stop.
no, I didn't. I looked because I'm like,
Okay.
I have the 6 of Pentacles.
Oh, all right. And am I seeing like kind of a feminine energy with like 6 hands holding up the pentacles?
Yes.
So with regard to like, well, first of all, I feel like this entity is like, very much kind of multitasking with every hand moving and holding on to things. And it also gives me a little bit of a motherly energy, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if it is feminine in the sense, but
It is. And when I look at it, it's really 2 people.
oh,
Hold it. There you go.
wow. I love that image. So I feel like there's a little bit of kind of, care and concern to each coin or pentacles that is right there before them. And that one has a lot of red in it too. So there's definitely a lot of passion and fire that we can pull into that as well. And you said it was 6. It is 6. And that is,
Yeah.
that is about nurturing and balance. I just heard today on a podcast, which I never really equated, the number six was kind of the ultimate healer, but I can sense that it didn't not resonate with me, but I'm letting it settle in my energy as a numerologist working with that energy. But I feel like that, kind of goes along with the passion as well. Very passionate about keeping things balanced, bringing the nurture, and it's the opposites too. It's the, work and home life, marriage, divorce. It's the number six resonates that with me as well. So very interesting. Well, nice. Well, we are about 25 minutes in, and that was kind of about what we wanted to hit. So,
Yeah.
Meg, I've had a blast getting to
Oh,
know
this has
you
been great.
and
It's
talking
great.
about
We'll have to
love.
do this
And
again. I'll talk to Kevin.
yeah, we'll definitely talk together. He'll be like, yes, just do it. You just do it. Let me know when you have it.
Yeah.
So, Meg, thanks for hanging with me. Kevin,
Thank
thanks for
you.
putting this together.
Yes.
And
Thanks,
Meg, where can they find you if they want to work with you or anything?
TheMentoringSage.com.
All right,
And
and
Meg,
you can find
Meg at TheMentoringSage.com if you want to email me.
perfect. And I'm
What about you?
MitchellOsborn.com.
All right.
All
Cool.
right. Well, thank you.
Thanks, everybody. And this was great. And till next time.
Yes. See ya.
Hi, thanks for watching. This is Kevin Quigley with Tarot Off the Cuff. If you can take a second, click the subscribe button down below. That'll let you know when a new video is posted and you might want to jump over and watch it. If you hit the thumbs up for the videos that you really like, that will help spread the word so new people will find Tarot Off the Cuff in their feed, and that helps the channel grow. That would be great. And if you got a question or a comment, positive or negative, whether you agree or disagree, or if you want to add information or your own take on a particular card or a particular topic, put a comment down below. We would love to hear from you. Thanks so much.